Hi, welcome to a fresh video here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. I am very relieved and pleased to be making this video. I remember making the initial video around Harry McKay that he wouldn't be playing, and I was really looking forward to, well, hopefully doing this exact video to touch on Harry McKay's return. So we have actually heard from Harry himself speak about exactly what's happening. So in this video, I want to play Harry's excerpt from the Ben and Harry podcast, and I'll link you to the full episode as well. And then I think there's a bit of room for us to just unpack and maybe learn some things from one another, and even from what Harry has said, and get some thoughts shared below. So this is Harry's take on everything that's happened over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
I guess 5 or 6 weeks ago, late Feb, started feeling in not a great place mentally, and I think the most challenging part of that was me thinking I shouldn't be feeling the way I was, and everything in my life, to be really honest, was in such a great place. Football club, loved my teammates so much, was in a great place in terms of footy, most beautiful, loving partner and family, so supportive. Everything in my world was in such a great place. And as I mentioned, that's why it was really scary. I guess you'd say it was really irrational to feel like that. And I guess as that progressed, and unfortunately feeling in a worse and worse spot, I felt like I had to put on a bit of a facade to pretend to be okay when I really wasn't.
Put on a mask sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly right. And that was really hard, especially as someone, as you'd know, I guess as a male, and someone who would hang their hat on always turning up, being stoic, pushing through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to put my hand up and say I needed some help. And since the moment I did that, the support and the love has been so profound, and everyone's ability to be able to shed some light on what's been happening and a bit more understanding on this world has been really important.
Was there ever a time where you thought you were just going to keep pushing through, or was it at a as you said, a tipping point where, even though it was extremely uncomfortable, I'm sure it was the right thing to do, which it is, and you've done a very good job of that.
Yeah, as mentioned before, I think we can try and be stoic and push through, and that's definitely how I'm wired a bit. I know you're similar, and it was so irrational because everything was in such a great place, footy, family, life. Line up, yeah. It didn't, on paper, made no sense, which probably added to the want to keep pushing through kind of thing. But the more you did, the worse you felt. So as I said, getting to a place where I had to put my hand up and say I needed some help. And the moment I did that, the support has been, as I said, so beautiful from partner, family, the wider football community, and definitely everyone involved in my club. And I knew everyone would be great, but it's blown me away how loving and caring and supportive everyone's been. And I know, there might be a lot of people listening to this who might be in similar situations or have been in similar situations, and knowing that there's so many people that care and love you and put your arms around you, makes a world of difference.
I know we don't really share this sort of stuff together very often, but I want to say I'm very proud of you, and you're an inspiration for a lot of people by doing this, so well done.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
I got to say, it was, I don't know how you watched it or listened to it. I felt really relieved for a number of reasons. I mean, for Harry, that's tough, talking about yourself and your struggles on camera, knowing that thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people will eventually get that message and watch that message. And to have it all play out publicly, the struggle, the putting of the hand up, the stepping away, and obviously when you step away, you need to step away from footy for a little bit. And within that, there's, speculation that happens, and there are many people, if not most people, who we didn't know exactly what was happening. We didn't know the extent of why it was happening. And so there's room for speculation. So you can't quash every wrong rumor, because if you start with one, then you got to, squash all of them. But I think more than anything, I do think the championing of Harry coming out the other end is the most important part here. And my mind turns to, well, okay, great. I feel relief for Harry. I feel relief that he's going to be taking the field again. And I feel relief that he has found being back playing footy as a solution to him, and to find the ability to be excited about playing again and find the joy in playing footy again. And I think also what I think of is, have we put the right tools in place? Does he have everything he needs to, stay on top of this? The reality of this is it's likely to be something that he will need to deal with for the rest of his career. It might come back again, it might not. So I think the most important part here is, have we put the right tools and do we have the right environment to ensure that he has what he needs to flourish? Because at the end of the day, I think every single person who is a Carlton supporter, at the end of the day, we all want the best version of Harry McKay out there playing footy, being successful, whatever that looks like in Harry's life. A successful Harry will likely translate and help Carlton be a successful Carlton. So, yeah, it's. I don't think I've seen something like this before with a Carlton player. I don't think I've seen conversations like this had. And I think the other part that I took, which stuck with me, was, at the very end, his brother sort of saying he's proud of him, and that kind of language and that sort of vulnerable language and that sort of vulnerable conversation doesn't get highlighted too much. Maybe it does a little bit more now than what it used to. I guess it is a modern way of hearing men speak. And over the course of the last few weeks, there've been a range of opinions on the matter. You've got people who come from a generation of war, the generation after the war, and then the generation, pre-digital, and then the generation in digital. So there's a range of perspectives and a range of people who come from different environments and had to deal with different things. And I think that one of the trickiest parts of navigating through this conversation is, number one, having the respect and the sensitivity to Harry, while also not really understanding what's going on with Harry. And at the end of the day, all that really matters, and the only one that can really do anything about this and move forward with this, is Harry. So it gets played out publicly, which is just, it's tough in this modern world. When you are in the public eye, the public being the Australian public or the Victorian public or the AFL public, we'll call it, because outside of the AFL bubble, not many people really know or care about this game. So to have struggles play out in the AFL public, and then, at some point, I was hoping the return would come, and then, would he address what happened and the way he's done that? That's tricky to navigate through. So I'm glad to see some strength. And then, from a Carlton perspective, I mean, it's been a really frustrating, sad, angry, emotional year. Let's be honest. I think one of the only positive feelings I've felt this year is after the GWS practice match. And there've been some little positive notes there, Lucas Camporelli debuting, and, Matt Carroll's going to debut this week. So, stories about the future of the club, and, hopefully players that come through and develop and things like that. So there have been little spots of positivity, but for the most part, it's just been a really frustrating time for everyone involved. So I saw this bit with Harry, and I thought, it just gave me a sigh of relief that, okay, maybe this is a nice boost in addition to, start his 200th game, in addition to Matt Carroll debuting for the club, a nice emotional boost for the team, which will hopefully translate into some positivity on the field, which will hopefully translate into a win, which will hopefully translate into more positivity and a little bit more of a sigh of relief from us on this side of the fence, who really just want to watch a successful Carlton team. That's all we want. We want to see a functional, together, connected Carlton team playing good footy, so we can jump on the back of it and support and amplify the positivity. And so I felt with this breakthrough that, I feel with this breakthrough that we can get there. And I also think it's an important part in the history or in the story of this group as we document it, to take a step back. And I was very mindful of talking about this, but I do think it's important to have the conversations. I do think it's important to learn from the conversations. And, you know, for the most part, everything that everyone said is a thought. So, you know, we have this respect for Harry and his privacy. We also have this reality that we're in the dark. We're not sure how much do we ask about it. But I think having conversations around this and bringing it to light will do good in the long run. And I think I'm just glad that we're at this point. Harry's going to play this week. He's going to suit up. I think it would be naive to just suggest that this is it and he's good and we just assume that everything's going to be fine from here on in. I think this is a challenge that is going to be with Harry for however long it'll be with him. Maybe it will give light for other players to share their story. And like I said, I mean, most, if not all the time, when you have a problem, you've just got to be honest about it, reveal the truth of it. And then once the truth is out there, then you can take steps to rectify it. So I feel a lot more hope for this week now that this has happened. I think this has been a boost. But what about you? What do you make of what you've watched with what Harry has spoken about? What has it taught you about this topic that you didn't think of before? Share some of your thoughts in the comments below and we'll go from there. And I think more than anything, it's just great to see Harry up and about, smiling. And oh my goodness, when he kicks his first goal, I mean, I think this is a footy community story now. It is a Carlton story, but I think this is going to be something that transcends more. So hopefully we get behind him and he just plays the best footy he can possibly play, and more importantly, just is healthy and gets himself right. So we'll go from there. Go Blues.